This video reviews the real estate market in Massachusetts during the first quarter of 2010, with a special focus on home sales in the town of Franklin. First quarter home sales in Massachusetts were adversely affected by widespread flooding in the state throughout the month of March. A series of massive storms created record rainfall in March. A federal flood disaster emergency was declared in Massachusetts on March 30th. All the bad weather and flooding during March in Massachusetts likely reduced home sales during the first quarter of 2010. Despite all the rain and flooded basements, home sale volume rose in Massachusetts for the first quarter of 2010. The number of home sales increased by over 15% for the overall Massachusetts market and notched an over 14% increase in the town of Franklin. In the regional market around Franklin, home sales increased by over 38%. At 32 single-family home sales for the first 3 months of the year, the Franklin market showed modest improvement over 2009, perfectly consistent with the rest of the state, and pretty good in context of all the heavy rains and flooding throughout March. The average number of days that homes sat on market in Massachusetts declined during the first quarter of 2010. This is a sign of improving market conditions. After dropping sharply in the first quarter of 2008, the average days on market for homes for sale in the town of Franklin crept higher in both 2009 and 2010. This might not be significant given the relatively small increase in days on market, but it is a trend to watch in Franklin for the rest of the year. In another sign of improving market conditions across Massachusetts, inventory levels of single-family homes for sale declined in the first quarter of 2010 compared to the prior year. Inventory levels of single-family homes for sale in Franklin have shown improvement each year since 2008. Median home sale prices for the first quarter of 2010 in Massachusetts presented a mixed picture. In the overall state stats, the first quarter of 2010 saw the first rise in home sale prices since 2007. However, median home sale prices showed declines both in Franklin and in the regional market around Franklin during the first quarter of 2010. First quarter median home sale prices in the town of Franklin, Massachusetts have bounced around for the past 4 years. Home values are off the lows of 2008, but the median home sale price in Franklin declined during the first quarter of 2010. As with days on market, this is a trend to monitor for the rest of the year. The top home sale in Franklin during the first quarter of 2010 was $600,000. Runner-up was the resale of a recently built home in Franklin's Brandywine Estates. The third spot went to a resale of a slightly older home in Hunter's Run, a prestigious subdivision in the southern part of the town, followed by a sale of a home in the prestigious Highland Estates neighborhood in Franklin. There were several factors supporting home sales during the first quarter of 2010. Mortgage interest rates remained highly favorable at around 5%. The Massachusetts economy showed marked improvement during the first quarter of 2010. In fact, the Boston Globe recently declared the end of the recession in Massachusetts. Even the national economy showed signs of improvement during the first quarter of 2010. An improving jobs outlook, if sustained, will do wonders for home sales across the nation. To learn more about Massachusetts real estate and buying a home in the town of Franklin, Massachusetts, please visit 02038.com.